Hey guys, today I'm gonna be doing my makeup while ranting about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Okay, and it's gonna sound like I hate it. I love it. One of my favorite things ever. NYX the Face Glue Primer. Okay. So, I specifically want to talk about the sequels today, and I know a lot of people already hate on the sequels. I know this isn't an original topic at all. But I believe I do have some original opinions on as to why it sucks butt. So we all know the sequels are Rey and Finn and Poe Dameron and our villain Kylo Ren. And we also know that it's that trilogy. It's those characters. And then it's produced by Walt Disney, the Disney company. So Disney bought Star Wars before making The Force Awakens and was the corporation in charge of producing those movies. So, of course, we're going to have some Disneyification, I'm going to call it. That's the term. Disneyification, whatever. One of the ways I see that the most is in the humor of the movies. I'm one to believe that Star Wars was so incredibly humorous in the original trilogy and in the prequel trilogy because it was just, the characters were just funny. The actors were just good at being funny. I think that the sequels relied way too much on visual comedy to have funny lines. There wasn't anything that, there wouldn't be, a conversation that would have a funny line in it. It would, especially in The Force Awakens, I feel like. Where's my beauty blender? Here it is. Oh, wait, I forgot. Wait. e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I know, e.l.f. sue me. But it's cheap and I'm broke, so. I just think that they rely too heavily on visual comedy, and it, totally drains the quality of the movies. What I loved so much about the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy is that there were just, funny gimmicks and lines. It wasn't reliant on the plot to be funny. So, an example for the sequels would be, there's a scene in the Force Awakens where, the movie's 11 years old. You should have watched it by now. Anyways, there is a scene where Rey and Finn are, running from the stormtroopers on Jakku, and they're trying to get to this quad jumper. And they run past the Millennium Falcon that's covered up in a sheet. And Finn goes, "What about this ship?" And Rey goes, "That one's garbage." And then the quad jumper in front of them blows up. And she goes, "The garbage will do." And it's supposed to be ah. But it's just it just sounds stupid. And here's why I think they did it. I think Disney tried to make Star Wars more serious than it was. And let me be clear. Star Wars is inherently political. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think the politics of Star Wars are greatly done. But I think there were just I can't get this freaking eyebrow, bro. There were just some aspects of it that was, it was over dramatic. And anytime that there would try to be, some comedic relief, it would just fall flat because of how overly dramatic the entire thing was. You know what I mean? I got real tired of Rey and Kylo Ren's lightsaber fights because they were just so ridiculous. They're just so stupid. Who cares? Furthermore, there was just the actors in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy were just funny. I could name you funny lines that the main characters would say that were just they didn't rely on the plot or it was just it was a joke. It was joking. In Empire Strikes Back, Chewie is laughing at Han or something, and he goes, "Laugh it up, fuzzball." I'm laughing. I'm laughing. But it's also Harrison Ford, so, gotta laugh at him. Both of these next ones are related to height, but when Anakin goes, "General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected," I'm, laughing my booty off over here. And it's, it's a serious scene, but it's, the comedy is still done so that it's, sarcasm. It's not, dead ass. I don't know. Back to my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. In the shade, I forgot to tell you the shade. Light Sand, because I got really tan from work, and now I had to go up a shade, or down a shade, or whatever. Um, yeah. So, I'm just really annoyed with the humor. Like, everything's so overdramatic to the point where all the humor just feels dull. I guess that's it about the humor. But my next thing is both the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy have some sort of, like, romance plot line, which I enjoy. I like romance plots, and I also think that, romance is, like, a part of it's just a natural part of Star Wars. It's a natural part of war. It's a natural part of all of it. Star Wars is one of the best love stories ever. So, yeah. So, like, in the original trilogy, it's, like, Han and Leia, and then the prequels, it's Padme and Anakin and whatever and whatnot. And I think the sequels just did themselves dirty by making Rey and Kylo Ren a romance plot. First of all, Kylo Ren is an egotistical, abusive maniac when he first meets Rey. Which, I mean, it's his character. It makes sense. But, like, do we really think that that's a good idea to, like, continue a romantic relationship with that? Like, what are we promoting? I feel like it's just so promotive of abuse. It's, like, gross. Ew. Like, he literally has her, like, tied down to this, like, chair contraption and is, like, trying to pry her mind with the Force, and, like, everything just looks really aggressive and gross. That scene always made me really uncomfortable as a kid, because it came out, that movie came out when I was, like, 7. I don't know how old I was. I was young, but it always made me uncomfortable. I was just like, what the fuck is happening here? And then also, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, Rey, like, changes her name to Skywalker. I know, sensitive subject, guys. She changes her name to Skywalker and not Solo. Like, I think if she changed her name to Solo, it would be less weird, but because she changed her name to Skywalker, like, babe, you're a cousin. Ben Solo's cousin would be Luke Skywalker's kid. If you're insinuating that you're Luke Skywalker's kid, you're insinuating that you are Ben Solo's cousin. Elf, Camo Liquid Bronzer, whatever it's called. Again, I know, Elf, but it's cheap and it's pigmented and it's good, so sue me. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Cool. Bronzer. That's my bronzer placement. It's just right below my cheekbone, and I kind of just take it wherever the hell I need to. We've got a brush from I don't know where, Amazon. I really just feel like the romance plot was so, like, unnecessary, and it was kind of just a fan service of, like, people who probably just, like, wrote fanfic and stuff. It's just, like, kind of gross. I'm sorry. Like, when they kissed at the end of Rise of Skywalker, I was like, where did this even, like, honestly, where did this come from? Like, I know in The Last Jedi they had a little thing going on, but it never seemed like romance to me. It seemed more like trauma bonding. It was a mess. It was a real mess. I was not a fan. At all. Also, I have to talk about the lightsaber battles. I don't think I can talk... This is probably not an original opinion. I don't think I can talk about the sequels without talking about the lightsaber fights. Why... Like, can we all just think back to the prequel trilogy where all the fights are just, like, amazing? And they're all just, like, so good. And they all have, like, this crazy choreo, these crazy sound effects and everything. And it's just so well done. And the music is fire. And it's just awesome. Like, I don't know. Everything about the, like, those fights is just perfect, in my opinion. Okay. So, why, like, and they're called lightsabers, mind you. They're called lightsabers. Why did Disney decide that a lightsaber was like 80 pounds? These people are swinging them around like they're like a metal baseball bat. I just don't get it. I also think the battles are so much more boring because they have no cool choreo. Like the battle in like the prequels, I don't know what Hayden Christensen was trained to do, but he was moving that thing like it was like nothing. Like literally nothing. It was great. Okay. That's my layout for my contour. I try to get more of like a button nose shape. It doesn't always work, but we try. This is another little bronzer brush. Another thing about the lightsaber battles of the sequels is that they're way too emotional. Like, think back to Revenge of the Sith. Think back to when Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting on Mustafar. It is a very emotionally charged time. But they still have like these amazing like fight moments. They have these there's like amazing choreography. It's just done well. Everything looks cool. It's like actually like getting you on the edge of the seat. Elf Camo blush. So I think it's like one of the best fights ever. It was so like emotionally charged for no reason. Like, I get like the planet is exploding and like blah 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 blah, Starkiller base is exploding. It just wasn't a good fight. I don't get like how people saw that and thought it was entertaining. NYX Jumbo eyeshadow pencil for my highlighter. I take like a little brush because it's like, look at this thing. It's so empty. I take like a little brush and I use that to do my highlighter. So I just think that like there was just nothing interesting about it because they relied too much on the emotion of it that they like totally forgot to like actually make a good fight, you know? Which really disappointed me because I think the potential was there. I think the potential for the sequels was there. Like, I will say The Force Awakens was not a bad movie. It wasn't the best. I don't think it's better than any of the other Star Wars movies. Then they just made The Last Jedi and then it went south and it was just bad. I was mad about The Last Jedi. I walked out of the theater at like 9 years old like, wow, okay. Don't care. And then there's another one between Rey and Kylo Ren on like a different moon of Endor in Rise of Skywalker when they're trying to get the like Wayfinder to Exegol or whatever the hell. It's just so bad. It's just so dull. Like, there's nothing choreographically good about the fight. There's some cool jumps or whatever, but there's nothing like actually of substance in the fighting. So, yeah. That's why I don't really like the sequels. Like, the best thing about Star Wars is that it combined so many different genres. It combined action and fantasy and sci-fi and romance and like politics and all of these like different genres. It was beautiful. I really, really loved it. I will say the one good thing about the sequels is that the score was like really, really good. I was watching The Force Awakens a little while ago and I was like, dang, the music is like hitting. Other than that, could not care. Also, why did they do that to Han Solo? I'm mad that they made Han Solo and Leia like divorce after Ben like destroyed the temple or whatever the hell. Like, Han Solo wouldn't leave her like that. He was pining for her for the entire original trilogy. He would not just get up and leave. Like, they totally mischaracterized him in The Force Awakens. I will say Han Solo's death is like one of the most tragic in all of Star Wars. Like, killed by your own son. Damn. That sucks. I was mad about that. Okay. Sky High, Maybelline Sky High mascara. But like, back to the dialogue thing. I used to think the dialogue in the prequels was bad, but then I watched the sequels. It's so much worse. Like, the dialogue, they just have to be they're too cheeky in the sequels. It's not actually funny. They're just cheeky and cringy. You know what? I will say Finn had like, let me talk about Finn. Finn, I feel like, was supposed to be that comedic relief character of the sequels, but they like totally ruined his character as soon as they brought Rose in. I'm sorry. He was actually really funny in the beginning. He was funny in like the middle of The Force Awakens. When he got to Phasma and he was like, I'm in charge now, Phasma, I'm in charge. And then Han Solo was like, cool it. I laughed. I thought that was funny. But like, other than that, not really. Yeah, Finn was, this is the Morphe Trendsetter. It's really bad. My sharpener just does not work. They just made him so insufferable and annoying, honestly. I think he was a better love interest for Rey than Kylo Ren was. I'm sorry. I thought the line where he was like, you got a boyfriend, cute boyfriend? That was funny. Look at that. Okay. That is my makeup done, and I'm gonna say that that's the end of my Star Wars rant because I have to go. So I hope you all have a lovely day, evening, night, whatever time of day it is for you. I don't know. Anyways, Bye, I'll see you in the next one.